All right, we're back. We got a new one. New to me. Which is something I seem to say all the time these days. Definitely spoiled for options in the NSLC in the last few years, which I'm not complaining about. This is from Serpent Brewing, and they're out of where? Spryfield? Yeah, Spryfield, Halifax, Nova Scotia. And they say this is their Judas Blonde at 5.5% alcohol by volume. And so they got some sort of biblical theme going on here, I assume. Floral aromatic balance, dry and assertive, Nova Scotia crafted. This is Belgian inspired, apparently. So I guess all their stuff is Belgian inspired. We're going to see here in a minute. But here's their logo with the serpent eating itself. And it's vaguely got a almost Celtic knot kind of quality to it. So Blonde Ale doesn't necessarily set the world on fire in my thoughts anyway, but we'll see what they do with it. But we need to share the screen here. So we're going to do that. Okay, Serpent Brewing. Okay, so they got all kinds of shit going on. Let's go to their beers. Oh, excuse me. Oh, we have to do this? Okay. New, June the 7th. New beer releases. So they do small batch can condition stuff. Okay, so seems like they are doing some Belgian inspired thing. Can conditioning, which, if you're not familiar, process using residual yeast left in the beer to ferment sugar in order to create CO2, and gives you creamier head. Belgian lacing in the glass. Okay, so they got some new stuff here. Cosmic strawberry something. Crystal Crescent strawberry something. Hoppy wit beer. Oh, here we go. Crystal Crescent strawberry Kolsch. Fololi. Hoppy wit beer. And Cosmic strawberry guava pale ale. Okay, well, that's new stuff. I want on tap, I guess, maybe. So the Judas is the one we're doing. Belgian Blonde. They have White Mountain Belgian Wit. Eden Belgian IPA. Belgian Dark Strong at 10%. Spiritus Mexican Mole Porter. Okay. They got some Church Brewing and Chain Yard Cider on tap as guest taps. So they're doing that kind of thing. In the fridge, maybe they'll give us a better description of. Okay, so they're not really giving descriptions of their stuff on the website. So that's not too helpful. So we'll stop sharing that. And we got Craig in the chat from Kid Beer Reviews. Cheers, Lee. How are you, bud? I'm doing well, sir. Hope you're doing well as well. So let's see what this is like. They say, so I'm assuming this is supposed to be more like a Belgian style blonde. So I'm sure I've had something that was a quote unquote Belgian blonde or Belgian style blonde. I was immediately going to say, I've had Duvel and stuff, but that's Belgian pale ale, right? Golden pale ale or whatever the fuck. So whoosh. Again, what did I say last review? I should stop using this class because it is not conducive for beers that already generate a big head. It's just going to leave me a lot to get through. It looks darker on the screen. It looks pretty much just like burnt orange peel on the screen, does it not? Yeah. It is actually a very pale straw color. And very cloudy. What did they say? Did they say there's wheat in this? Water, hops, barley, yeast. So no wheat in it or anything like that to give like an artificial kind of cloudiness. It's just purely the yeast in there, baby. All right. So let's go to the aroma. Okay. Yeah. All right. It's definitely got a Belgian wit kind of. It's got that estery Belgian sweetness to it. Um, they don't say anything about like uh, candy, sugar, or whatever the fuck in it, or anything like that. So I'm assuming it's just purely the Belgian yeast that's giving off this aroma. But it is distinctly a Belgian strain of something. You can just kind of tell by smelling it. It's musty. It's got that sweet estery thing, almost banana bubblegum quality to it. A little bit of the malt in there, but it's mostly just that what you would expect from a Belgian beer, where it's just typically the aroma is driven by the yeast. Smells good. Just estery, light banana, bubblegum, not too sweet, mustiness in there. Remarkable. So, like they said, their stuff is can conditioned. I guess is this can conditioned? Doesn't say on the can. So maybe it was just those ones they were showing. I was showing on the website that were like new. Maybe they're their small batch stuff is maybe the can condition, which probably makes a bit more sense. Um, With that, the malt is starting to come out a lot more now. Dry, again, like musty. Kind of turns that mixes with that sweetness, turns it more into kind of a floral, almost earthy note. All right, we're going right to the taste. Cheers! It smells really good. I'm actually kind of excited to try this. I didn't expect anything. I didn't even really read the can when I picked it up. I just saw Judas Blonde from Serpent Brewing. That sounds cool. It's new to me. I'll pick it up. Didn't really read the can or Belgian influenced or anything like that. So this is a nice, pleasant surprise so far. Cheers. Hmm. That is very dry. So there's a little bit of a sweetness from the yeast that's kind of dancing around the tongue a bit. You get more mustiness, you get more dryness, big time dryness in the end. Just makes you want to drink more. I'm getting some very light floral qualities in the actual flavor as well. But it's not super complex. It's just a lot of dry malt, and the yeast is kind of driving what flavor you get as well. Mm. Slight note of like bubble gum that you've been chewing on a little too long, which I know sounds bad, but it's not. It works in the beer. So this reminds me a lot of whenever you see someone do like a table beer or a patter beer or anything along those lines, which is usually much lighter in alcohol, this is like a more intensive malt flavor version of that sort of thing. So it still drinks fairly light, but it doesn't drink quite as light as some of those I've had. These sort of examples. One I'll mention, like the Lies from Two Crows. Very light drinking, has some similar flavor notes here. Who else? There's a couple other ones. If you go back in my reviews, you'll see them. There's one from Church Brewing that's similar. They have a patter beer of some sort. I can't remember what the fuck it's called. Who was the other one? Was it North Brewing? Or maybe it was another one from Two Crows. I can't remember quite offhand right now. But there's a few examples floating around where it's like you get those super light Belgian-inspired kind of table beers, patter beer idea where it's very light drinking. It's like a saison without all the like hops and other whatever junk they throw in going on. And this is very much in that range. So I'm kind of like, they're saying Belgian blonde. Essentially, that is kind of that style anyway. Like you can argue it's Belgian pale ale or whatever a patter beer might be, light Belgian pale ale. But really, it vaguely fits into the blonde pale ale kind of thing. So I'll be kind of rating it on that scale. And this works pretty well. Honestly, I wouldn't mind the version of this that's much lighter in alcohol. Like this is something I could drink all day if it wasn't 5.5%. Style-wise, yeah, I'm going to throw a good 8 at it. I think it's pretty good. It could use a little bit more flavor, I think. Maybe that's the only thing holding it back other than the high alcohol. It's really not high alcohol. I mean, 5.5% is not high it's supposed to be a Belgian blonde and not a patter beer. So that's my own personal preference getting in here. So we'll go to the personal preference. So 8 for style. Personal preference, I'm going to throw a 7 at it. Like I said, I would wish for it to be a bit lighter in alcohol and maybe a little bit more flavor going on. I want the a bit more yeast flavor taking over the notes here. Maybe sweeten it up a little teeny bit, but I do really like the dryness in this, and for what it is, it's pretty goddamn good. And it does distinctly taste Belgian, or at least Belgian inspired. I'm actually really interested in trying more of their beers now, because if they just have this like base blonde that, doesn't have a lot going on, but is distinctly Belgian-like, I imagine some of their more complex, flavorful beers would be really interesting. If they're the maintaining that standard of sort of a Belgian yeast character and shit in it, and the can conditioning for whatever ones they do too sounds really, really impressive. So I am impressed. So yeah, so 8 for style. Personal preference, go 7. Pretty good scores for this. This is pretty good stuff. You want something a little different in your blonde ale. You're used to just like the blonde ales around here in Nova Scotia, just your generic ones. This one gives you a little different taste from a different region in the earth, different region of the world. Why did I say different region in the earth? Makes it sound like I'm talking about like a hollow earth or something. The Judas Blonde from Serpent Brewing. Good stuff. All right, I'll be back in, I don't know, I'm probably going to down this pretty quick. I'll be back in about 20 minutes for the final beer I have to review tonight. So anyone interested, come on back, check it out. For those who watch, thanks for watching, and we will catch you later. Goodbye.